All right, so everyone, I'm going to be starting the live stream here in a second. Just wanted to get everything shared over on socials. I'm popping out the chat, that way I could see everyone in the chat. Just 1 second. All right. Here we go. I'll put the XRP chart up real quick on CoinMarketCap. That way we have something to go off of real quick. And then we'll go off of some trading view charts. I also want to go over some new information that we are also getting regarding the SEC and what they did today. I'm sure that by now you guys probably already know. Like I said, we will go over that as well. But welcome in, everyone. I see AI Bags, Emily, Saucy, The Fallen, Nickdo, Tony, Richard, Kotek, Tony, Desiree, WV. Welcome in, everyone. HSB as well. Samsung, Apple, nice, love the name. Danny, Johnny Boy 530, welcome in. Kaya and me, yeah, welcome in. All right, so give me 1 second and then we will jump into everything. I just want to make sure that all of the levels are good in terms of the actual stream. All right, yeah, so we should be good. All right, welcome in, everyone. So yeah, I mean, overnight we saw XRP run to $3 plus, which we knew this was going to basically happen, especially once we cleared over those December highs. So now things are looking pretty juicy here. Now, I did also watch Bitcoin reclaim 100K. Remember what I was saying last night? Actually, remember what I was saying over the last couple days while Bitcoin was just ranging and chopping? The number one thing that I said, and if we go over here, I said once we see Bitcoin dominance chop sideways or drop down, while Bitcoin chops to the side or goes up, we are going to see altcoins like XRP that are already starting to pump go crazy. And that's exactly what we are now starting to see. But the crazy part about all of this is that when we take a step back and really look at the entire market, it's not just about XRP. I mean, the entire market itself, like, let's go over here to the top gainers and losers in the top 100. Guys, the entire market, XDC going absolutely insane, Algorand going crazy, Litecoin going crazy, QNT also pumping. So we're now starting to see some nice gains across the board, which is, incredible to see, especially if we're comparing it to, the last month, the last 2 months, 3 months. So things are now looking pretty good. We are noticing some interesting stuff happening, though, around XRP. Number one, just a casual $60 million worth of XRP moved by Chris Larson. This is very interesting. 20 million XRP moved by Chris Larson. Now, is he going to dump? We don't know what he's going to do with this, $60.5 million worth of XRP. We don't know what's going to happen with this. But this is also why I focus on Whale Alert, because we have been noticing a lot of transactions, not just from, Chris Larson and insiders and stuff like that, but USDT, Bitcoin. I mean, there's so much money being moved around this space by the big whales. So I do question what's happening here with some of these, moves. But the XRP moves are definitely interesting, especially when they are coming from Chris Larson, which at this point, everyone should know who Chris Larson is. But beyond that, we also saw a big update regarding the SEC case. Number one, we have Ripple's CLO, Stuart Alderati, says that the SEC's lawsuit is likely to be abandoned by next administration. And I don't think that I need to tell you guys that we are less than, roughly almost 4 days away. So we have about 4 days until we have this new admin take office and this SEC lawsuit basically be put behind us. Now, on top of this, we also have the meeting. Everyone is aware of the meeting. We know that 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for Ripple and even XRP. I do think that we are about to witness some very significant moves being made around this entire space. Now, on top of this, yes, the big update was the fact that the SEC did file the appeal. All right. We have here, as expected, the SEC's appeal brief is a rehash of already failed arguments and likely to be abandoned by the next administration. We'll respond formally in due time. For now, know this. The SEC's lawsuit is just noise. A new era of pro-innovation regulation is coming and Ripple is thriving. And yes, this is one thing that I've been saying for the last couple of years is that the SEC case is basically just all noise. You actually look at a lot of my SEC, lawsuit videos, almost every single one of them, I say, this is most likely all by plan. And it's all just a big, it's just all noise. Big distraction away from what is actually going on, what's coming. And, again, you go and look at the FSB, you go look at, the BIS teaming up with Ripple. I mean, you look at all these connections, it's like, what was really going on here? I have made the argument that the SEC sued Ripple so that Ripple would fight in court, go through the entire process, and get regulatory clarity in the court of law. It almost feels like all of this has been just one big stage. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's exactly what it feels like. But on top of that, let's go over here to some TA. XRP holders now have outperformed Ethereum that bought ETH anytime after April of 2021. It's 2025. So we have outperformed Ethereum in a massive way. And you know what's crazy about that? For the longest time, ETH maxis would constantly say that XRP was not going to do anything. That XRP was dead. That, XRP's, this, that, whatever. And now we are outperforming Ethereum in a big way. But it's not just Ethereum. It's also Bitcoin, which Bitcoin maxis have also scolded XRP holders for so long. Now, if you don't care about lower time frame trading or like the lower time frame charts, like for example, if you're not concerned about any of these midline moves or anything like that, that's okay. You don't have to be. In fact, also, another big shout out to Credible Crypto. He gave us this chart back in December. Now, a lot of people did not really pay attention to this. I made a video regarding this chart specifically because of how important it was at the time. Again, Credible typically deals within the Elliot wave theory around trading, but we have, for non-traders, you just need to zoom out a little so you don't forget the big picture. Structure on XRP here looks so clean and so bullish. It's actually insane. And yeah, this is exactly what we were looking at, where we're basically in this 5-wave Elliott wave theory, okay? We were looking at this basically becoming the third wave. So this third wave target would be almost $8 on XRP in a macro sense. Sure, there's micro like wave 5 structures that you could go off of as well, but the wave 3 would basically be, almost like $8. So if that's the case, wave 5 would put us at almost $20 on XRP. Now, are we going to hit $20? I'm not too sure. Listen, I've said it many times. My levels that I'm really looking at when it comes to XRP is about $5 to $7 initially. After the, $5 to $7 range, we're really looking at that $10 to $15 range. So as we really look at what's going on here, XRP is obviously in a very big bull run. We're looking at XRP going significantly higher than it is right now. And again, this is what 7 years of consolidation leads to. Disbelief, people crying because they, didn't buy, they didn't believe. And then you also have that crowd that's very small that's also celebrating. Welcome in, Rich. Welcome in, Philip, Eddie, Fishing with Camo Joe, AM Wood, Passive Income Streamsco. Welcome in, everyone. Theo. Welcome in, everyone. So yeah, I mean, listen, as we really go and check out the XRP chart here, if we look at this thing, let's actually clean up the chart a little bit, right? Let's go look at this thing on the daily. This is what the daily chart looks like for XRP. Again, very, very clean setup here. It's actually very similar to what Bitcoin was doing as well back in March before it ran to 100K plus. So this is just a very small move. The next big area that I'm looking at is like $4.50 to $5. I do appreciate the $2 super chat, DeAndre Roberts. Do you think we peak in 3 to 4 months or 9 to 11 months? Well, the big question is, when does alt season officially begin, right? Because a lot of people think that we are in alt season right now, but the problem here is that, and let me actually just duplicate this real quick. The big problem right now that I see in this market is trying to time this. This is what the Bitcoin dominance chart looks like right now. We're still above 50%. We're still trading at about 57, almost 58%. Until this thing starts to break down below 50%, we are probably still about 6 months out. So we probably have at least, 6 to 12 months until this thing actually officially, you got to remember, alt season is the shortest time frame in the market. That's the shortest, part of the cycle, which is typically about 3 to 6 months. So when this thing starts to really break down, we have about 3 to 6 months. Now, if you really look at this, you could argue that it started back here in November. So even if that was the case, going off of, let's actually look at this thing on the monthly, just going off of, the 3 to 6 month time frame, okay, we're looking at sometime in February or, in May. But that's the problem here, is trying to really time this out and saying all right, well, going off of just this candle here, time frame structure, we should be, topped out by May. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case, simply because of, the fact that we haven't really watched this thing break down in a large way. But again, if we zoom out and we look at this thing on the 12 month, and let me actually clean up the chart a little bit, we should technically have our top this year. Our top should be this year. Just going off the patterns on a lot of these charts, you can see that Bitcoin is starting to top out here. This was January of, just 2021. Regardless of, 3 to 6 months or, 12 months or anything like that, this year, our top should be this year. It's going to be hard to time it. It's going to be hard to trade that, which is why I say this is going to be the year to take profits. So, as long as you're taking profits off the table, as long as you're paying yourself, that's all that really matters. Trying to time the market, it always goes wrong. I also appreciate the $2 super chat from Messiah. Welcome in, bro. I see you all the time in the Discord, so I appreciate the $2 super chat. We also have another $5 super chat from Joseph Samilo. Nick, you rock. Homie, you rock, dude. I appreciate the $5. So outside of Bitcoin dominance, though, let's go and take a quick look at XRP, because I want to go back to this and just really kind of show you guys what I was talking about with this. So if we look at the daily for this thing, and we go all the way back here to 2017, 2018, we could actually see that we are very close to breaking over, the all-time highs on just the main, crypto chart. So this is the actual crypto chart. This is not going off of any exchanges. This isn't going off of, Coinbase, Binance, or anything like that. We're just going off of the actual index, the crypto index. This is basically a complete average of XRP. So we're actually very close to breaking over that all-time high. I like to go off of $3.84. That way we could actually get a new all-time high listed on CoinMarketCap. And I do think that that's when a lot of the FOMO does begin on XRP. I also appreciate the $5 super chat, DeAndre Roberts. Thanks for the insight. Love all the content. Hey, I appreciate you being in chat. I appreciate the super chats, and I also do appreciate the chart. So thank you so much. But also, going on to the weekly, I want you guys to understand that if we do have a weekly candle close here, though, on XRP, we're about to close over, significant highs on this chart. We're about to confirm a complete breakout on XRP. which is why I said that the weekly on this thing looks so beautiful. But the issue here is that everyone is focusing on XRP and they're questioning, why isn't my other altcoins, pumping? Why isn't my, other altcoin bags, going crazy? It's because XRP right now is an outlier. A lot of altcoins right now in this space are kind of like outliers. We have yet to actually see alt season officially begin, which is why I said, it's very hard to time this market. We should have our alt season this year though. But until Bitcoin is actually below 50% and we start to see like a very significant move to the downside, we're not exactly in alt season just yet. And if we are going to, focus on the patterns here, technically speaking, macro wise, Bitcoin dominance is still making all-time lows. So our Bitcoin dominance chart should technically bottom somewhere around like, I would give or take like, 37% or so. We should have actual 12-month candle body closes around like 37%, like the mid 30% range. So we're definitely focused on this chart a little bit more right now to try to time the market, but I always hate trying to time the market. We got another $2 super chat from Zero Sleep. Green is my new favorite color, life-changing. I appreciate the $2 super chat. We also have a 29. What I wish that the currencies were listed here, because some of them, like, it doesn't include it doesn't include the actual currency, but I believe that that's Colombian pesos. I think that is at least 30,000 Colombian pesos though from Sebastian Butron. I have 5,000 Axler. Do I exchange them for more XRP? I would not chase XRP at this point. If you don't have a significant bag of XRP, or if you're not holding a significant bag of XRP, just let it ride. Just let it ride. Don't try to chase. Don't FOMO in, because again, that's exactly how you get wrecked. So just let it run. Take your profits. Call it a day. Axler will do fine. Other altcoins will do fine. So just, sit tight. Don't make impulsive moves, and just let things happen. We also have another $5 super chat from Nick. Why XRP crashed back in 2017? Will it again? It crashed because of a bear market. We entered a bear market. I do think that we will see another bear market as well, right before regulations, right before the big changes happen. So in my opinion, I do think that we will see another crash. It might not happen immediately. It might not happen, I would say, if we're really looking at time in the market, it will probably happen around 2026, like early 2026. It might even, the market might top earlier than we, assume. So, and also to answer the question from Jinxie in the chat, why do bear markets take place? It's because crypto runs on the liquidity cycle. The only reason why we are seeing so many, significant moves being made every single 4 years around crypto is the fact that we do follow the liquidity cycle. This is the global liquidity cycle. So liquidity is improving around the world, which means that the markets start to move upwards because of increased liquidity. There's more money out there, so more money's flowing into stocks, more money's flowing into, these markets. So it just happens, to really kind of align perfectly with the 4-year cycle narrative. We also have another $10 super chat from Juice Master. We're starting to get the big super chats again, just like last night. I don't know what feels better, all the money we making or seeing all the haters disappear or even act like they had an XRP bag. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. For the last couple months, I've watched a lot of people switch up on XRP. I've been noticing a lot of Bitcoin maxis, Ethereum maxis. A lot of these people saying like, oh, I've been following XRP forever. I've been in XRP forever. Even though if you go back, I mean, they probably deleted a lot of their videos. If you go back and look at a lot of these people, they were saying like, oh, XRP is not going to do anything. XRP will never experience a new all-time high. XRP will never do this. XRP will never do that. And now we're starting to make these non-believers believers again. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because it's been 7 years in the making as well. We also have another $5 super chat from Nick. If it crashed, do you think it will go below $3? It all depends on how high XRP goes. Typically, altcoins do, move 90% to the downside during a bear market. So let's say it tops out, at $10, it'll revisit a dollar. A dollar will most likely be its bottom. But if it, pumped to $15, for an example, okay, that's a little bit of a different story. Then it will settle at around like roughly $1.50. But if it's going to hit like $20, like a lot of people are saying, again, I don't think that it goes that high, then we're talking about roughly $2. Now, if it hits $30, again, it all goes by like the 90% range, so about $3. Again, I do think that XRP tops earlier than what most people anticipate, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to listen to what I'm telling you because, again, we don't know where this market's going to go. Nobody, thought XRP would be trading at the price that it is right now, let alone, this fast. We always knew that XRP was going to break a new all-time high. We just never knew when it was going to officially happen. But yeah, most altcoins will drop 90% during the bear market, just so that you guys know. So, with that being said, let's actually look into a few things. Number one is some of the lower time frame structures on XRP. Let's go to the 15-minute on XRP and really kind of look at what's going on here. So we could see that we are finding some resistance up here around like $3 and like 20 some cents. There's some heavy resistance here, nothing too crazy. We already have that nice wick to the downside. We retested about $2.92, $2 with like 93 cents or so. This is the previous highs. This is the previous highs back in December. So if we're thinking about that, we're now flipping what was resistance back in December into support, and now we're continuing to the upside. Again, the big thing here is just simply breaking over the previous highs, continuing higher, and pushing the lower time frame structure even higher. This will also make sure that the macro on XRP is also broken in terms of those macro highs. So we're definitely going to watch this closely. We're going to focus on some of the previous macro targets on the chart. Again, you can look at Coinbase, for an example. Like, you can look at any of these exchanges. Like, for an example, if I go to Coinbase and I go to the 1 month here, okay, and I go, back to when they relisted it, we're already over these highs on Coinbase. So it's hard to actually find a lot of the price data. But if you go and look at like Binance, for an example, we're almost right at the all-time highs on Binance. On I think Bitstamp. I think Bitstamp actually has, so like almost every single one of these charts, the all-time high is like around like $3.30. But we know if we go back over here to CoinMarketCap, the all-time high, 384. That's the original all-time high that was listed on a few exchanges. I don't know what exchange had 384. I want to say Coinbase listed 384, but I might be wrong. But regardless, I do think that we're almost right there in terms of all-time highs. But it's just crazy to look. Like, I just want to take a second to take a step back. All right. If we take a second to step back and we go back to like 2022. Okay. And I know that a lot of people right now, they might be getting some PTSD because 2022 was not a good year. It was not a good year. But I want to go back because if we go all the way back here when XRP was trading around like 30 some cents, nobody thought this would have been possible. All right. We are now trading at about $3.05. We hit about $3 and like 20 some cents today. But the craziest part about this entire chart is the fact that we're now at 2017, 2018 levels. And we are that close, just so close to breaking over these all-time highs on a lot of these charts. 384, once we break 384, it's game over. All the games stop. There's no longer these discussions about, could XRP make a new all-time high? Will XRP make a new all-time high? It's XRP made a new all-time high. You either missed the boat or you got on. That's it. We also have another $2 super chat from Blue Hawk Legend. So basically, announcement could make a moon. Honestly, anything could make XRP move today. I do appreciate this, the $2, but Yeah, no, like when we really look at XRP, I mean, if we're thinking about this, do I think that a lot of people are buying up XRP simply because of the January 20th announcement? Probably. But think about what we have in store for us in 2025, right? We have a pro-crypto Congress, pro-crypto, presidential admin. We also now have a pro-crypto SEC chair getting into office. We now also have, for the first time ever, a council that's based around AI and crypto tech to try to push it forward in the US, which means that all US based companies around crypto will most likely see positive returns and gains in 2025, which does include, of course, Ripple, which also probably does include XRP. Hedera is also going to do very well. A lot of these US based crypto projects will do very well. What's crazy to me is the environment right now around XRP. We also have the potential XRP ETF, right? That's a big one. We also have a potential Ripple IPO, which does include XRP on their balance sheet, which also provides a lot more, potential FOMO for XRP. Then we also have the potential of the SEC lawsuit disappearing before our eyes. And then we also have potential announcements, partnerships, NDAs that are in place that we're waiting until the lawsuit was done. Like the entire macro outlook for XRP right now could not be more bullish. That's why, people are starting to FOMO in. And it's not just retail. No, this is whales. These are institutions. These are big players. We have another $2 super chat from Nick. So even if institutions jump in, it could still crash 100%. Listen, institutions are in stock markets. They run the stock market. So if we're thinking about this, does stocks crash? Right? Like, does the stock market crash every, 4 years or so? Yeah, 100%. So if we're thinking about that, crypto is not anything different. We could also see, crypto crash, even though institutions are here, even though, the big players are here. In fact, a lot of them actually control the market. They manipulate the market. So they actually want it to crash. That way they could repeat the same exact thing that they repeated when it moved to the upside. We also have another $10 Australian dollar super chat from the Fallen. Welcome in the Fallen back to back. He was here yesterday, dropping super chat after super chat. Now he's here today as well. So welcome in the Fallen. I do appreciate that super chat as well. And we also have another $2 super chat from Nick. If regulations come in, then could be no crash. No, I mean, listen, we have to remember that this is an asset class like any other that runs off of, the liquidity cycle. Will that change with utility? It might, right? We have no idea. We can't. The problem is that we actually don't have any market out there right now in the world that runs off of utility. We have not, I mean, you could argue, yeah, sure, stocks run off of utility, but stocks don't. They run off of company valuations and company performance. So if we think about that, right, you could argue that there is a few, small markets out there that might run off of utility, but not the way that crypto will, right? Because you got to remember that if we look at, Hedera, if we look at XRP, if we look at, some of these projects, if they are going to be the ones that are running, for example, like the enterprise markets, if we have these projects that are ultimately tokenizing everything on chain, we actually don't have anything like that out there in the world. I see somebody saying oil in the market. Yeah, I mean, listen, we have an oil market, and technically, yeah, it does run off of utility. We use it for gas. We use it for a billion and one things. But the problem is that we don't have anything close to what crypto is. This is a completely different technology asset class. It's a completely different way of looking at how utility will look. The reason why I say that is because when we look at what crypto is doing, it's digitizing workflows. It's tokenizing paper-based products. It's changing the way trade finance works. It's trading the way everything works around us. We have nothing even close to that. Oil doesn't even come close to that. So it's hard to say what will happen after regulations. In my opinion, regulations will definitely lead to a crash. The way that I, look at that is that if we look at regulations, think about what that does, for most of this market. We have 99% of the crypto market tied back to nothing but, hype and speculation. So with regulations, we will most likely see a much larger crash, actually. But we also have another $2 super chat from Nick. I just wanted to hold at $3. Again, it all depends on how high XRP runs. In my opinion, XRP will probably see less than $3 again, unless it jumps over like $30+ and it just continues going crazy and we top out at like $50 by the end of this year. But I don't see that happening. And I know that a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but that's totally fine. I'm a little bit more conservative when it comes to, XRP, but it is what it is. I'm a little bit more, I would say realistic when it comes to XRP, but that's just my opinion. But I do appreciate the super chats. We also have another 23, so almost like 24 Malaysian ringgits super chat from Laurel Paulus. I hope that I'm saying that name correctly. I do appreciate the super chat. We also have another super chat as well from All Motorsport UK. It's a £5 super chat. Taking out all-time high, and you change the perception of value on a global basis. How high it goes? Good question from an ex-pit trader making waves via Ripple. So, yeah, listen, when we look at this entire space, the number one thing that I want people to realize is that with utility, we're not going to see an immediate, like the world's running on DLT overnight sort of push. I feel like that's the biggest issue that I see in this space, is that we have a lot of people that push the idea that, like, all right, overnight we're going to see XRP go to $100 or $1,000 because every single bank, on day one is going to be using XRP. It's going to be using this. It's going to be using that. I want you guys to just be a little bit more realistic here, okay? I want you guys to understand that, we're not going to see everything move on chain overnight. It's the number one reason why when you look at the projections around tokenization, they're saying by 2030 we could see $16 trillion on chain. It's because it takes a little bit of time. You got, like, take a step back and think about this logically. The entire financial system is undergoing a major change. It's changing from paper-based. It's changing from the old ways of, doing business, and it's moving to digital. That doesn't happen overnight. That happens over the course of a couple years, maybe 5, 10+ years, maybe 20 years. But I want you guys to also understand that this has been in, a process for a while. If we go back to 2004, that's when ISO 20022 was actually introduced to the market back in 2004. It is just now getting adopted in 20+ years later. So think about that. That's how long that this has been in process for. But I say this because I see so many people saying, like, all right, well, XRP is never going to crash again. Once we have regulations, once utility is here, nothing's ever going to, crash. This has been a long, term narrative that's been pushed for many cycles now. I just want you guys to be level-headed here. I want you guys to make sure that you're paying yourselves, and I want you guys to make sure that you are taking profits, because the number one thing that I want all of you to realize is I have witnessed cycle over cycle where people have round-tripped gains and have regretted it for the next 4+ years. I do not want anyone to experience that. So, again, when we think about cycles, right now, this entire space is running on the liquidity cycle. Until we actually see regulations and until we actually see what utility does for the price, I think that it is very, I don't want to say that it's a bad thing to assume that the prices will go up, but I just want to say that we don't know, that it's a completely untouched environment. There's also a question here. Do you think that it will take another 10 to 20 years? No, I don't believe so. I don't think that it will take another 10 to 20 years. I think that we already have a significant amount of time, that's been already in process for this to happen. It's the number one reason why they're so bullish on the fact that, like, by 2030, we're going to see, so much money on chain through tokenization. This is not an average crypto cycle. Again, I've heard that narrative pushed around back in 2020, 2020 into 2021. I've heard it back in 2017, 2018 as well. Again, this cycle is not different than any other cycle. We are seeing, liquidity being the main driver here. I understand that things are changing in a big way. And I will say that, yeah, we haven't seen a lot of these factors at all in any other cycle. We've never seen a pro-crypto presidential admin. We've never seen a pro-crypto Congress. We've never seen a pro-crypto SEC. There's things that are changing, but for the most part, we are still running on the liquidity cycle, and we are still playing, ball with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the main driver right now as well. So it's not different at all, technically, going off of the actual technical side of things. But if we're going off of, like, the headlines and the narrative around the space, yeah, that's a little bit different. We also have another $5 super chat from Nick. It's hard to tell because you have Trump coming in next week, pro-crypto, SEC case ending, Altseason, like, it's too big right now. I think the main thing about it is we have to think logically here. There's always going to be a trap set for retail. For an example, back in 2020 to 2021, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the whole talk was that institutions are here now, right? Like, this is an institutional cycle. This is a super cycle. This is a blow off top. We're waiting for Bitcoin to go to 250K. Like, there was the retail trap set back in 2021 as well. Okay. And almost nothing that everyone was predicting happened. XRP never hit a new all-time high. We had Elon Musk on mainstream media shilling Dogecoin. Like, the market went crazy. Sure, it did. But for the most part, everything that everyone was saying never actually happened. Institutions were not, pumping the prices to new all-time highs. Almost everything ended in November of 2021. So this cycle, we also have a lot of narratives. We have to watch, wait, and see what happens. But it feels like we still have that retail trap being set. We also have another $5 Australian dollar super chat from the Fallen. I appreciate it, Fallen. Hi, Nick. What is your forecast for ADA, XLM, HBAR, and XDC over the next month or so? I think that they will have positive gains. I think that we're probably going to... So the big thing is on the 20th, right? If we look at what's going to be happening on the 20th, it could very well be a sell the news event. We could see, a sell-off on the 20th, for an example. But it doesn't matter. That's lower time frame, outlooks. That's lower time frame trading. In terms of the first 2 quarters of 2025, I am expecting, roughly the first quarter of 2025, which we are now in, to be very bullish. Quarter 2 is when I get a little bit more cautious. By quarter 3, I do want to take some very significant profits. That's my overall outlook going forward. I am expecting the next month or so to be very bullish for crypto, especially for utility-based projects. There was also another question here that was interesting. It was actually the going back to fiat. So the thing about going back to fiat and losing that 4% per year, okay, let's think about this logically for a second. If we go into a bear market and altcoins lose 90% of their value, that's a 90% value loss. Bitcoin typically loses about 80%. So if they're going to lose 80 to 90% of their value in a 4-year time frame, we'll say like a bear market typically lasts about 3 years. All right, if I'm losing 4% year over year, that's a loss of 12%. versus an 80 to 90% loss. I am totally fine hodling dollars, losing that 12%, rather than hodling my, crypto and losing 80 to 90%. The biggest thing that I want people to realize is that if you're taking profits in a bull run, in a euphoric cycle where retail is getting, so euphoric, they're getting so bullish that they're telling their friends, their family, everyone knows about crypto, everyone's talking about crypto. You have, these teenagers on TikTok, talking about how they just bought this meme coin and it's going to do a 1000x. It's typically time to start taking some profits, because what happens next is a flush of the market. That's when we start to see that 80% drawdown on Bitcoin. We see the 90% drawdown on altcoins. And during that time, when we're in that bear market, now you reinvest those profits. So even if you lost that 4%, 8%, 12%, now you're reinvested in on the lows. And just for reference, if we reinvest it into the lows of XRP, we'll say the midline, right? We'll go off of like 37 cents. XRP is now up 714%. So that 4% year over year that you lost on USD during that time, or whatever percentage it was, because again, this entire time frame here, and we're on the monthly, right? So it took about 29 months. So a little over 2 years. You lost 8% on your USD, which you technically didn't, right? Because you invested in the bear market. So from the top over here, if you sold somewhere in the middle of it, you're never actually going to sell the full top. You probably, waited about 15 months or so. So you took a 4% hit on your money. Does not matter. Even if you had $1 million and you lost 4% on it, it does not matter, because you now just invest it in during the bear market lows, and now you're up 714%. That 4% that you lost on that $1 million, or whatever the case may be, how much value you lost, you're now up 714%. I don't think that you're even worried about that 4%. Now imagine if you hodled that $1 million back down, and let's actually look at how much XRP lost here. Now imagine if you hodled that $1 million back down 85%. That's a much bigger significant drawdown than losing 4% on USD, for an example. That's why I always try to say, and I always try to give this perspective on like, yeah, we hate fiat dollars. We hate, the fiat currency system, because, they have us losing money year over year. But at the end of the day, we have to also gauge that, should I take the short-term 4% loss on my money rather than the 80+% loss on my money, just to gain another 700% plus during a bull run? So always think about it logically like that. And yeah, I do agree, like, never sell it all. Like, you could take profits. It's very easy to take profits in the space if you have a solid exit plan. For an example, and I have always given this out for free. I never actually gatekeep this, strategy, because it's a very simple strategy. If I invest into something and it doubles in value, and I take my initial investment out, I basically still have the same amount that I invested into that project in that project. I just took my initial investment out at a 2x. I'm completely de-risked. I could let that thing run for 5 years. I could let it go to zero. It does not matter. My initial investment is out completely. The number one thing that does not get, spoken about in crypto is preserving capital. It's not about profits. It's about preserving capital. Why would we want to lose the money that we put into the market? The number one goal is to get our money out of the market. For an example, if I go to the casino, I'm not going to the casino with a mindset of, I want to win money. I want to go to the casino to get my money that I went to the casino with back. That's it. I'm just trying to break even. And the same thing goes with investing, right? If we're going to invest, we're not there to make a gain. We're there to make sure that our money is preserved. The thing about investing is that you're always trying to preserve capital. You're always trying to make sure that you're keeping, at least, break even or gains. You don't want to lose money. So that's why I always say, when you look at this space, I mean, listen, I don't go to the casino often, but if I do go to the casino, I want to make sure that I break even or get my money back. So if I win, I'm out. I'm done. If you win in the casino, that's when you step away. That's it. But investing is completely different than gambling. The main goal here, though, with investing is that, you know, everyone talks about how you want to make profits. You want to make profits. You want to make profits. You want to, you know, make life-changing gains. The number one goal here is just preserving capital. So if I invest and I hit, you know, a 2x, I'm taking my initial investment out. That's it. That's the only goal that you actually should have, is making sure that you get whatever you put into the market back. And the best part about this is that anyone that invested into XRP prior to November, guess what? We'll just go off of the midline, 57 cents. 57 cents is an easy target to, you know, have your average at. XRP from today's price level that we're trading at is already up 425%. So you should already have your initial investment out. You should already have your capital preserved. And now you're all in profit. That's it. Everything is just all profit here. That's it. So again, that's why I like the 2x rule. That's why I've always favored the 2x rule. You never lose money with the 2x rule. I mean, it really is that simple, especially in a market that moves volatile, right? You most likely will always hit a 2x. But the initial investment always comes out. We have another $5 super chat from Jennifer. Confused. Thoughts on XRP, or thought XRP was a hodl and would not drop that much if being utilized. Please explain. I've always said with XRP, you always should take profits. It does not matter how safe these projects look on paper. Crypto's a volatile asset class. It's just that simple. It's a risk-on asset class. It's like stocks. Stocks are a risk-on asset class as well. When we think about what's happening here, okay, we're still following Bitcoin. We're still following the liquidity cycle. We keep hearing this narrative thrown around in the XRP community. And trust me, guys, I have talked about and researched and addressed XRP for years on years on years. But the number one thing that I want you guys to realize here is that XRP is not some sort of special project in the space where it does not abide by bear markets. It will also lose value. So when we think about this, we have yet to see regulations hit this market in a big way. We have yet to actually see utility at scale. So until that actually happens, we have no idea what's going to be, happening when these projects are being utilized the way that we are, predicting them to be. So when we think about what's happening here, okay, are some of these projects, a hodl and forget? Sure, you could do that. XRP could very well be a hodl and forget. But I also want to remind you guys that we are here waiting for XRP to break a 7-year. I just want to say this real quick. We are sitting here waiting for XRP to break a 7-year all-time high. So if you hodled, say for so you were buying XRP all the way back here in 2015, you were buying, and you just, hodled, you never even sold, you didn't even care about it, you would have been holding XRP from the time that it hit an all-time high to where we're at now. You would have been hodling XRP for 7 years. This is why I say the whole hodl narrative, not taking profits, not selling a single, XRP, things like that, it's ridiculous. When we think about this space, even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, yeah, sure, you would make money hodling it. And that's fine. You don't have to sell. You don't have to take profits. I just always try to take my initial investment out. And I also want to pay myself for waiting 4 years. If we're sitting here waiting for Altseason, if we're waiting for the bull run to actually happen, why wouldn't we pay ourselves for the waiting game. It just makes sense. So again, I just want you guys to understand that, XRP isn't some, special project that's not going to experience a bear market. And especially with the macro, economy, soaring debt, we have no idea what is going to happen, in 6 months, 12 months. Again, we don't know what the economy is going to look like next year. So we trade what is given to us. We trade what chart is, we're seeing in front of us on the chart. So again, I just want you guys to understand that, if profits are there, if life-changing wealth is in front of you, why not, pay yourselves? It just makes sense. So many people will tell you to hodl to the, oblivion. It's, I don't know. To me personally, the best way to play this market is making sure that you're preserving capital, make sure that you're taking some profits, paying yourselves for the time in the market. It just makes sense. And, it's like anything else, right? If it's in front of you, if the opportunity is, presenting itself, why not take it? Why not realize that opportunity? We have another $5 super chat from Vincent Jackson. Do you think HBAR will gain more than XRP at this point? Well, if we're talking about ROI perspective, HBAR does have a lot more ROI than XRP. Just off of the basis of, the market cap with the supply ratio, HBAR does have higher upside potential than XRP. And that's just facts. And if we're thinking about it like this, right? Let's go look at HBAR. So side-by-side comparison here, XRP's fully diluted value. I'm going off the fully diluted value here. Okay. $305 billion. All right. HBAR has a fully diluted value of $16.2 billion. That means that the upside potential here on HBAR, just off of the fully diluted value, you're talking, this is almost a 20x potential on just fully diluted value to get to XRP's level today. So the upside potential here on, HBAR is very significant. We have, it's definitely special though. XRP solves the liquidity issue. See, the big thing about the liquidity side of things is that, yeah, XRP definitely does have like a big liquidity side to it, but so does a lot of these other projects, like XDC, for example. XDC is also being marketed for liquidity, issues around trade finance. So the liquidity side of like the on-demand liquidity narrative with Ripple and stuff like that, yeah, that's great, but we also have that same use case potential around like XLM, for example. So, it's not, I don't want to say it's not special. I'm just saying like, the utility around XRP is that it can move massive amounts of money, right? At, insane speeds, low cost. It's very efficient, but it's also tied back to Ripple, right? Like Ripple is utilizing the XRP ledger. They're utilizing XRP. And that's where I really start to focus on what makes XRP very, very special, is the fact that Ripple has all these deep connections. They're trying to push the XRP ledger forward. We even heard from a Ripple employee that everything that they do is with XRP in mind. So that's what makes XRP very special to me. But again, the whole idea of regulations, utility, all that kind of stuff, it's still years out. We still, I don't want to say years out. Regulations will most likely be in this market by the end of 2025. The utility side of things will most likely happen around 2026, 2027. So again, we still have a nice time frame, to go off of. That's the timeline that we have been given by the FSB, by the BIS and stuff like that. So things could happen a lot sooner. We'll definitely have to watch, closely. But yeah, I mean, we still have some time here. Nick, research Impel and XDC. It is massive. I have, researched it. It's cross-border payments with XDC. Again, another big, narrative that everyone has always really kind of thrown around is that XRP will cover the entire cross-border payment market, but that's just not accurate. We have HBAR doing the same thing. We have XLM doing the same thing. We even have XDC also doing the same thing. So again, XRP won't move all the money. I do think that it does have the potential to move a significant amount of the money, though. We also have another $5 super chat from Johnny Meg Sachs. We have thoughts on FXRP and Flare Network. Would you do more videos on the ecosystem? And why not Flare? Why Axler? Seems like Ripple's ignoring Flare. Ripple's ignoring Flare because of the way Hugo presented himself. And that's just facts. Again, if I was, let's go all the way back to 2020 when Flare, was becoming a big, deal. Flare marketed itself as the savior for the XRP ledger. What we were, hearing around Flare is that it's going to, bring smart contracts to the XRP ledger. That's going to, open up this massive world of DeFi, and it's going to do this, it's going to do that. And all of a sudden, we saw the true picture, which was the fact that, Flare basically used XRP holders and Ripple for marketing. It was basically like for marketing, and they, did the airdrop, which the airdrop became basically useless because the value of it dropped significantly to practically zero. And after that, Hugo was basically saying like, oh, XRP has no utility without Flare. That's what made me turn away from talking about Flare, like even researching the ecosystem. Do I think that Flare will do good? I mean, for the sake of everyone that does hold Flare, I hope it does. I think that there's some great, opportunities around Flare. I think that the utility is very interesting. I just don't think that it matters much, for XRP. And that's just me being honest, especially with everything that we are now seeing being pushed around the XRP ledger, around XRP as well. I think that a lot of the stuff that we are seeing in terms of the amendments is actually opening up a whole world of, DeFi, especially around, like, for example, like the lending and borrowing side. I think that that's very interesting. And then also on top of that, we look at the native smart contracts that they are also, addressing, which I think is going to be a big deal. And then with Axler is basically like an EVM bridge. Axler is a big player. So I didn't sell XRP. Initial investment out 100% though. Nicky, okay, brother, you sound a little frustrated. No, I'm all good. Just addressing a question. That's all. XRP Army Moon. Yeah, 100%, dude. Ondo's pretty good. I actually really like Ondo around RWA tokenization. I do think that there is some better picks around tokenization though. But Ondo's definitely becoming a blue chip, especially with the connections back to BlackRock and stuff. So let's real quick, let's go over 3 other charts, and then I'm going to be wrapping up the live stream because we are about an hour in. So I'm going to be wrapping up the live stream here in a second. Let's take a quick look at HBAR because HBAR has now officially broken out of that uptrend or upper trend line, sorry. And we're now starting to have this nice uptrend form on HBAR. And if we do have a daily candle close, which does happen in about 21 hours or so, if we do close over these December highs here, HBAR will be on a path to breaking out to almost 40 plus cents to retarget these highs here to like 40 plus cents. This is going to be very interesting to watch. XLM also looking pretty good here. We're still ranging. We're still trying to break over some highs back here in December as well. Again, I do think that XLM currently, if Bitcoin does play perfectly here, because again, Bitcoin is still ranging around like 99K, 100K or so. If XLM can break over these highs as well from November, then we will basically be on the same path that XRP is, where, you know, XRP is now pushing even higher than those December highs. And the same goes for XDC. I mean, XDC has already broken out completely, very similar to XRP. And now we are at levels going all the way back here to like 2021. These are like the all-time highs for XDC. So this thing is getting very close to retesting those all-time highs and going into price discovery. So XDC is very close to getting into price discovery. So the charts right now around the space are looking primed. They're looking good. So I'm definitely watching closely. We have another $2 super chat from Route 66. I appreciate the $2 super chat. We also have another $10 super chat from Vincent Jackson. Hypothetical question: if you were to allocate $20,000 to invest in cryptocurrency excluding XRP, which crypto or cryptocurrencies would you prioritize and why? I would be looking into the strong narratives like AI agents, RWA tokenization, things like that. So that's what I would be looking into. I wouldn't be looking at specific crypto projects. I would just be researching those strong narratives. And we just got, to wrap up the live stream, a $100 super chat from Desiree Knight to Locked In. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that $100 super chat bomb to wrap up the live stream. That's absolutely crazy. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up the live stream. Definitely put some W's in the chat, though, for Desiree to wrap up the show. And we also have another 10, I think that's an $11 Russian ruble. I might be wrong on that. But we have another super chat from Bruno Castro. What about Axelar, and IOTA? Two great projects. I always like I liked Axelar since, you know, the first time that I looked into the project. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the show there. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. We're going to be doing more live streams obviously in the future. Let's wait and see what happens with XRP overnight. I think that we are going to see some interesting price action. But with that being said, guys, thanks for stopping out. If you guys did enjoy this video, if you did enjoy the live stream as well, definitely hit that like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.